Hey, I'm Adam Moffat, and this is the State of the Republic podcast. Thanks for joining us.
How's it going, soccer fans? Welcome to the State of the Republic podcast. My name is Luis, and today I am joined by our very own podcast mom, Sharon. How's it going, Sharon? I feel like it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while, but you know what? I'm ready to get going with our interview with Adam Moffat.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and get started with the interview. If you'd like to introduce our guest tonight, please introduce.
Well, tonight we're interviewing Adam Moffat, one of our alumni from Sacramento Republic FC. He played with us in the years of 2017 and 2018. He was one of our captains, tremendous guy on and off the pitch. And my goodness, he's probably the only person on the squad that can understand Robert Briggs' brogue, because those two guys are both our Scottish, steadfast Scottish men. Welcome, Adam Moffat.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me. I still don't really understand Robert Briggs, to be honest, Sharon, but he speaks too fast for me. Well done, 2017, 2018. People always ask me, when did I play for the Republic? And I cannot recall the years. I played for too many teams, so good memory, you.
Well, and as you know, I knew you during portions of that. You know, we worked together. Essentially, we were workmates for 2017. So got to chance to get to know you and watch you come through and really grow within our squad. You've done such good things all your life and all your soccer career. But we're going to start with your current life. Okay, so welcome to the show. We really enjoy your game day broadcast. We want to know, are you continuing in that role?
I am. I'll be back this year. So myself, Rob, and Kevin will be doing the broadcasting duties this year. So it's fun. I'll do more games this year than I did last year, than I did the previous year. So I enjoy that. I enjoy being connected to the club that way and being connected to the team. And it's just a fun way for me to watch it, a different way for me to watch the game, whilst obviously talking about it. I usually watch the game and then talk to myself about it, but now I get to talk to people, broadcast that out a little bit wider.
And you have no idea how many people are like behind the scenes saying, "Oh my God, Adam said what I was just thinking."
That's good. That means I'm doing something right, maybe.
Yeah, we need more of those people that can speak for us, and so we're not just shouting at the TV. And I know exactly how you feel. I mean, before this podcast, I felt that way, right? It was just me talking to myself about the game or talking to my dad about it. But I didn't really know that many hardcore Republic fans that we can really talk about all things Republic. So this podcast was born. So
great.
I got a two-part question here for you. So first, as we know, last year was a different year, whatnot, and we got to hear you right for the first time commenting matches on TV. For those matches that you weren't commenting matches, were you actually there at the booth watching them, or were you just watching remotely, or how did that work?
I was at home watching. So the games Kevin and I rotated last year, we'll rotate again this year. It's a tough obligation, obviously, because it's the weekends, and Kevin and I are both former players. So what we did was, when we played, it was the weekends, all our games. So our weekends are valuable to us. So a lot of the times, if I wasn't commentating the game, it's family time. But then I'd tune in at the end of the night. But it was just strange last year, obviously, with no fans at all at the stadium. You'd just be sitting in that. Rob and I would just be sitting up there, and you'd look down and you'd see the guys playing, and you'd hear everything. You'd hear players talking to each other, which we're not used to. We're not used to hearing the goalie screaming all the time. The fans kind of drown out that noise. So it was a little bit of a strange atmosphere. But yeah, so whenever I wasn't doing the games, I'd usually be at home watching, or I'd be on the road watching. I remember watching a game. I was actually maybe doing something else. I was in Colorado, actually. I was in Colorado, and I had to do, I think it was for Connor Sutton, I had to do some sort of interview. But I was in
Yes.
Colorado doing that one, yes. And then the team scored when I was on that. I was on live there, and my internet was lagging, probably because I was in Colorado.
Oh, I remember that thoroughly because I was, there was the fan, interaction. I totally remember that.
Yep, that was one of my off nights. I was doing that in Colorado.
Well, the weird thing about, and I know Luis has a second part of this question, but I do know that those people who had the direct, like an antenna for the television broadcast, were the ones that were well ahead of everybody else. And we would try not to watch those people because they would react one way or the other well before we all saw what was going on. And I think Luis was watching on ESPN Plus, so that was even slower.
Yeah.
That feed was even sometimes 30 seconds behind everybody else. It was a very interesting year last year, but I'll let Luis ask the rest of his questions.
Yeah, no, that was really something else. And I remember one time there was one goal that someone was already celebrating, and I knew that moment was going to come where they're going to like actually record people celebrating. So on my side, it was still 0-0, and I was like, all right, guess it's time to celebrate. I don't know what.
Join in, that something's going to happen.
Yeah. Because otherwise, when they replay it on the, because they replay this on television, they replay the fan reaction, right? And if you're a delay, you're sitting there like a mump, and then you celebrate. So it's really quite funny to watch some of those old clips.
That was for Rob and I. We'd be watching because we'd get the video saying, okay, here comes the fans, and we're going to see the fans celebrating the goal, and then there would be the 16 screens or whatever, but 8 of them are celebrating, the other one are just like
the monks.
So they definitely haven't seen what's happened yet. I can tell from that reaction that they're not too excited. But I was one of those people. When I was watching that game, I was in the fans, I was on the video, and I hadn't had the goal, but everyone else was celebrating. I had my face. Oh, yeah, I was lagging that night.
So we've all learned now who to watch so that we can all have game face, the right face.
Yeah, who has the quickest internet connection? Watch them, see their reactions.
Right.
Yeah, or go to the levee, right? There's always that option.
Well, if you're going, it's a live game. Yeah, these were the away games. Yeah, that's true.
So my second part of the question is, what would you say was your biggest takeaway in transitioning to game commentator, and what was it that you enjoyed the most of commenting games?
What was it I enjoyed the most? I enjoyed, obviously, there's the game on the Saturday night, Wednesday night, whatever night it may be, but it's the leading up to that. I enjoyed watching. I haven't studied game video since I was playing. There's no need to really. So for me, it was like, I get to go watch a game Oklahoma's playing or whoever it may be, and just get to kind of engage in that a little bit, find out how they're doing. But so I enjoyed that. I enjoyed actually having a need to watch the game more. I'll just put it on if I'm here at the weekend. I'm watching some Premier League in the morning. I'll put it on. I'm not a diehard fan of anyone. Man U is my team, but I'll just put it on. But now actually, okay, I get to watch this, and I get to say, okay, this guy from this team's good. I got to watch him, or I got to watch our highlights and see that. So for me, it was good, kind of re-engaging very loosely, but in a way that kind of matters as well. It's not coaching where it's like, okay, we've got to get the formation right, but it's a little bit of analysis. So I really enjoyed doing that. That was probably one of the most, I won't say exciting things, but it was definitely a good thing that I enjoyed doing. It's
interesting when you have to do the research, when you have to do analysis ahead of, so that you have stats at your fingertips, because, I don't know how much information you have right there, who else is putting together information. It's not like you're Rebecca Lowe or anybody where you've got other people helping put together, information for you. But it's always good to have that stat and to do that study. It gives you, like, before we interview people, we usually dive into their full history. As a matter of fact, I'm trying to remember if you've been an answer to any of our Jeopardy questions, because we have answers. Jeopardy, we do the live Jeopardy show, and we may have to have you as a category. What do you think, Luis? Should we have Adam Moffat as a category?
Yeah, I think that would be really great. I mean, we'll find out who of his teammates know him more.
Yeah, exactly.
They should know me.
Right? So let me ask you really quick. We're going to talk a little bit about injury. Was it right side or left side groin or hernia?
It was right side.
Okay, good. Because the guys, if they know you well, I'm going to write that down right now, because that's going to be, of the Adam Moffat things. It's like, who's his favorite team menu? I remember that because that's my team. Okay, cool. Okay.
If they remember it's the right side groin, that's very well done. I don't know, it might be a little creepy actually. I'll think of it if they know what side that is.
No, I mean, hey, it's a 50-50, when they buzz in for the answer.
Groins, yep.
Unless you're weird.
Then also, yes, I may be a little different.
Yeah. Yeah. So the analysis is really cool. This is funny. So we know you're doing coaching and training right now. So how's that transition been going? And then that's one question. Then the other part is, walk us through a day in your life right now. What does that look like? I know you've got these 3 beautiful children, and a wonderful wife, but like, open it up a little bit, open the doors and let us see in a bit.
Oh, well, let's look at this morning. I woke up and my kids had pulled out an inflatable pool in the living room. No water in it, but just I'd made a passing comment yesterday. I was like, it's hot. I'd love to be in a pool. So I think they thought, okay, when I wake up at 6 tomorrow morning, I'm gonna go in the garage, because I'd bought a pool from Costco already, just an inflatable to put in the backyard when it gets hot. So they pulled that out, unrolled the whole thing, and just that was sitting in the living room waiting for me. So usually I don't really know what I'm going to wake up to, but that was a nice surprise. But I'm coaching, I'm training kids locally in my area. I'm up in Folsom, El Dorado Hills area, and it's been really fun. It's been fun. I have young kids I train, and then some older kids who are, late teens. And it's good to impart some of that knowledge. And I always think to myself, I'd love to have, some of this when I played or when I was growing up. So it's really enjoyable. The game gave me so much, so it's good to give back that way, and just making sure that people enjoy it. I think especially dealing with youth, there's a lot of pressure on them. And there probably was a lot of pressure on me when I was younger as well, but I see it even more so now, that pressure to be the best or any of that stuff. And it's always got to come down to enjoyment. Even I can just go back to my professional days, and the moments I played best was when I was enjoying it. I was looking forward to going to practice. That's not always the case. I played for 15 years professionally, but there was times when I was like, I do not want to practice here. And that's part of the environment. It's part of the mental game, which is massive. So for me, it's always bringing it back. Just make sure you guys are having fun. You can work hard when it's time to work hard, but make sure you're enjoying it. So it's fun. And then some people think, obviously, because I did play, that it's got to be all serious. And it's like, yes, you got to take something from it. You got to get better. But at the end of the day, it's a game. It really is. It's a game. It has to be about enjoyment. Someone's screaming at you the whole time, you're not going to enjoy it. So that was always a natural transition for me. When I finished playing, I knew I could do that. And I enjoy doing it. So yeah, it's been good. It's been good staying in this area, being connected, obviously, with being connected with the club helps as well. Yeah, but I've really enjoyed the kids I train, the boys and girls. So it's a good time.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, we do definitely need more coaches with that mentality, and not ones that just want to scream at every player and whatnot. And hopefully one day you get to be in the academy and help us with our future talent, which is growing each year. It seems like we're getting more and more talented players from academy. I want to take you back to your career days, though. Let's put retirement aside. let's look back at the days with SRFC and also in general your career. What are some moments that you'll forever treasure? And if you can give us maybe some for SRFC and then just like some in general of your career.
I think with the Republic, it was probably, I want to say in the second season. So I played 2 seasons. In the first season, I got really bad groin injury, as Sharon had mentioned, and I wasn't too sure if I'd ever play again, to be honest. It was kind of ended up 3 surgeries. So I wasn't too sure if that was going to happen, but come the second season, Simon Elliott and Ben Zimmer were the coaches there. So Simon Elliott, head coach, and I played maybe 6 games the previous year. Wasn't feeling great with my groin after the 3rd surgery, but I remember the first game of the second season, I'm like, Simon asked me, he's like, how you feeling? I'm like, I don't feel great, but feel good enough if you want to play me. So I remember him putting me in that game, and I only played 10 minutes, but for me, it's probably one of the highlights personally, just for the fact that I got to play again. When I didn't think I would have, I thought I'd possibly played my last game. So for me, it was great. 10 minutes, I honestly, I could have torn my groin at that point. I really wasn't sure how it was. Thankfully, I got to play some more games after that. But for me as well, one of the other highlights was going down, playing the Open Cup game against LAFC. I believe that was also in 2018. We had a nice little crowd go down there, getting to see that stadium. I wasn't in the MLS when they were in there, so I never got to play there. It was it was a wonderful game as well. We were on the wrong side of it, but we showed up pretty well there. And I remember William Bijev scoring a wonder strike on that one too. So that was a good time.
Yeah, that was such a memorable game. I went to it too. I think Sharon, you went to it as well, right? We just didn't know each other yet. So yeah, it was well worth not only the drive, ticket, just hotel, everything that we all paid for, right, in making the trip out there. So yeah, you guys showed a really great performance that time.
Yeah, it was a great game. I mean, yes, you get to go there. Sometimes you just go to a game just for the experience. The game might be 0-0, no shots on goal, whatever. That's part of being a fan of this game. But to go to that one and 3-2, I think it was that the final score? Yeah. 3-2 and
barely 3-2. I mean, come on. We really fought hard.
I know.
They barely got ahead of us. I mean, seriously. It was one of the best games I think I've ever been to, and one of the best experiences in a stadium. And I know you guys felt the same way. It's like you just have to, that the fans are incredible, and you just fake it like they're rooting for us, or they're just rooting because they love this sport so much. And that has to feel good as a player, whether you're playing for or against that, in that kind of an atmosphere. It's awesome.
Yeah, it definitely does. I mean, I'd play this game regardless if people came and watched me or not, but thankfully I've been able to play and have the support of other people, and obviously make a living from it. But even if I didn't, I'd still be playing. I'd be playing at a park somewhere. It's such a fun sport. So
I gotta ask, when you were playing for the Republic or with the Republic, who was your favorite road roomie? When you had road games and you had to be a roommate with somebody, who was your favorite guy?
Oh, who was my favorite guy? That's a good question. I'll be honest. My favorite was when we would take an odd number. We'd take 17 or we'd take 19 players. I think 18 in the squad. Sometimes would take 19 players. That was usually my favorite trip, because that meant I didn't have a roommate. Being the senior member, I'd be the one who get the room by himself, and then everyone else had to share. So some of the other guys were fun, but that was good. Obviously, coming from a home with 3 busy kids, sometimes just having a room myself was really, really peaceful. But if I got to choose, Elliot Horde was a good buddy of mine. Elliot was fun to room with, unless you're talking about video games and stuff like that. I never got into that, but there was several guys. Jeremy Hall was relaxed. Jeremy was great. He was chill. Room with him a few times. Josh Turnley, Cole Sealer, don't know how to pronounce his name still. Known him for years.
You know, Cole, I don't know that I
Violet.
could have handled being a roommate with Cole. I mean, you don't know if he's going to penny you in the room or if he's going to put a bucket of water leaned up against a door that you open and now the bucket of water's on you. I mean, I would not. He had to have been one of the biggest pranksters when you were playing with us.
He was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. And
Yeah.
him and I got on really well. And he wouldn't mess with me, though. He knows not to mess with me. But I had a good time with him.
Good.
There's so many good people, and that's one of the benefits of playing as long as I did. You get to meet so many different people, different personalities each year. And then even coming to the Republic, my last team of many. And I'm still meeting new, unique people, different backgrounds, and still enjoying that. So
it's good to hear that you still enjoy that and not got burnt out, you know, because having played for as many teams as you have, it could get tiring as an older player to just know that you're bringing in the new guys or bringing in, you know, laterals and transfers and having, you know, to kind of reestablish and reconfigure and get to know everybody again. But you didn't tire of it. You actually were one of the more gracious players in the squad, if I remember correctly. You know, you were always willing to talk with somebody and take them in under your wing. And that doesn't come naturally. A lot of people, I mean, for you, it comes naturally, but not everybody has that skill. What was one of your favorite memories of a road trip? You know, what was one of the more memorable road trips against which team? I mean, right now we've got a love-hate relationship going on with Phoenix because of the freaking handball. But yeah.
I used to enjoy the drives up to Reno. I remember I think it was at the end of the 2018 season, maybe when we went up there. It was actually before I played my last game, before I got hurt at home. But we were going up to Reno. I enjoyed those games. It was a close proximity. The fans would show up, and they were a good team. So it was two good teams going against each other. But I remember going up there, and it was towards the end of the season, and we ended up winning the game 1-0. I believe it was 1-0. We won the game where it was kind of the playoffs were on the line, and those were the games I enjoyed. The local, kind of close to home here, getting on the bus, traveling up there the day of. But there's more to it when you know the fans are involved, and they'll be missed. Reno, Fresno, these teams, these local teams, you know, that's definitely something that's going to be missed for the Republic fans and the players. You know, I know obviously we have Oakland coming in this year, so that'll be a game that they look forward to more. But, you know, definitely miss those Reno rivalries.
Oh yeah, we think the same. Every time when we found out about that, we're like, oh, that wasn't such good news, because each goal was celebrated much differently, right? When we saw them score, yeah, we were like, oh, who are we going to celebrate so much against now?
Yeah, I know.
It's just going to be regular. Well, you know, you told us about your injury, and we know how, you know, tough that must have been, and we've heard from other players and how much it can impact them, especially mentally and trying to get back and whatnot. Can you tell us more about how you're able to motivate the locker room and how you're able to essentially deal with your injury, not knowing, you know, how long it was going to be for, or like you said, if you were even going to come back to play?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the times when it's stuff like that, you're dealing with the staff, the trainers. They're giving you the best they can give you, and you're trying your hardest. And sometimes it's just injuries happen. And for my one, it was just a random injury, and it was tough to get to the bottom of. But for me, it's always just showing up with a smile on your face. And to be honest, that first year, I showed up and pretty much ran the whole time. That was I could run, but I couldn't kick the ball. As soon as I started kicking the ball, I kind of re-tear the tendons in my groin. So that wasn't fun. It's not what I signed up for. You know, it's not what I want to do. I don't want to go in and just run all day. But at the same time, knowing I'd been through that stuff like this before, and you just persevere, you keep going. But for me, it wasn't just locking myself away and just, I'm dealing with this myself. You know, it's going and just having fun with the guys. I I knew my job when I signed for this club. I was going to be one of the older players. There's a lot of younger players, and it's definitely a different team environment than what I've been used to in the past when I was in MLS, or even when I was with the New York Cosmos. There was a lot of senior players, so it was a little bit different. So it's just showing them, it's like, yeah, you're gonna have these ups and downs, and just be thankful that you're in this environment where you do get to come in and play for a living, have the opportunity. You're going to get injured, just work hard, get back at it. So hopefully that helped some of them, just seeing that. But I also, I knew I was a vocal leader in that team as well. So I couldn't shy away from those duties just because I wasn't playing, on the weekends.
Yeah, because you really were quite the motivator in the locker room. And, speaking about the locker room and from coming back to today and the Republic that we have going, what's your outlook for this season? And, we know you need to leave here soon, but we just kind of want to hear what you have to say about this upcoming season. What is it? What's your outlook on it?
I'm looking forward to it. I think, last year it was a rough ending, but it could have easily have been, a championship last year for the squad and the team that Mark Briggs had. I think this year there's been a lot of change. I think a lot of the USL has seen a lot of change just due to the whole climate of the soccer here in the US and all over the world, actually. But they've brought in more players, and I think Coach Briggs has had more of a say in who's coming in. Last year, you got to remember, he didn't necessarily bring those players in. I think he was a little bit late getting that job there. So I think this year he has maybe a little more say in who's coming in and what he wants for his style. And we saw last year there's some really, really good stuff, and I'm excited for it. Again, he's organized. He knows what he wants. He's demanding in terms of he wants people to really enjoy it and give everything they have 5 days a week at practice, and then come the weekend, be ready to go. And you would see, if you're watching the games, you see those little videos, segments of him when he's wired up or whatever, and he's in the huddle, or if he's at practice, you can see how passionate he is. And I loved it. I mean, him and I spoke a little bit before he got actually when he was the academy coach here. And I really just enjoyed how genuine he was and just how much passion he had for what he was doing. So I think he can make a big difference. And I like, a few of the signings that they've made. We'll see. We'll see soon enough. It's happening soon. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, we are too. They talk about the right attitude, the players, they talk about having a winning attitude. And with Todd Donovan and Mark Briggs and all the players that it seems like we have, it's like there's this mentality that he's looking for. And it's the same mentality you just spoke of with him. And I think that's going to take us a long way. It's that we're not settling for anything but winning, and whatever it's going to take to do that. So looking forward to it. Can't wait to have you say let's see, we got to find a code word during your commentator episodes that we know you're thinking about us. We'll figure that out. We'll let you know what that is. If you can think of a code word that you have to slip in during a broadcast, we would love to see it. Like the word right groin. How about right groin?
Okay, yeah, groin. I'll see if I can. Yeah. I'll just wait for the right moment. Oh, he's taking a shot here. It looks like he's hurt his right groin. Yeah, I'll get that in there somehow, even if it doesn't look like it. Yeah,
I don't know. You'll figure it out. We'll know. We'll know when you're thinking. I get
my friends ask me all the time. They'll watch the games. They'll be like, "Hey, you gotta say this code word." So maybe I have been saying code words the whole time. There's probably people at home like, "What did you just say?"
Yeah. Well, and I've texted you during games, and the next thing I know, you've commentated on something. It's like, oh, good, he figured that, he put that one out.
I see. You said that. Don't tell everyone a secret, Sean. You're actually the one with the knowledge, passing it through me, using me through there.
You're killing me. We really appreciate you coming on tonight. And Luis, do you have any final questions for Adam before we have to say goodbye? Because I know he has to go be a dad right now.
I know I have to get up in about 9 hours, and I just don't know what's going to be outside there. I don't know.
No, all I have is
that's true. Food all over the place.
There could be water in the pool tomorrow.
There might be a pool
in
with
your
water
living
in
room
it tomorrow. Yeah.
Oh. But yeah, no. Thank you, Adam, for joining us, and we're definitely going to be, on the lookout. If we're not at the stadium and we're watching, then going to be tuning in to hear your commentary, to hear right groin mentioned, and I am actually going to be sitting right next to the section where you guys will be at. So if I get to you, I'll say, Sharon, you're right across from me too. You're going to be section 106.
So. Down, yeah.
So we'll be on your side.
Good. I'm looking forward to people being around this year. Last year was a bit strange with those games like I spoke about. So just having, even if it's just a few thousand, which I believe it is, 2,300 max, but it's gonna be good.
As we say with every podcast, get vaccinated and let's get to the yellow tier. Right? We're in red, orange, yellow. Let's get to yellow.
Yeah.
Get more fans in there. Get to the yellow. Get more fans in there.
Yeah.
Which everyone should, because now everyone can, right? I mean, April 15th.
That's getting close.
Everyone
I
can.
know. Yeah.
So awesome. Right. Well, thank you so much for being on, Adam, and we hope to have you back on sometime during the season to talk about hopefully all good stuff going on this season.
Yes, hopefully sitting at the top of the table. No goals against, loads of goals for. It's perfect. Just
it'll be great. It will be great.
Yes. Fingers crossed. Well, thank you guys so much for having me. Thank you, Luis. Thank you, Sharon. And I'll see you guys soon.
Okay. Right. And when you're off air, we'll plug your academy, your training. We'll do that for you.
You guys don't have to do that either, but thank you if you want to.
Absolutely. Okay.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Take care, guys.
Good night. Bye. Hey, Luis. So that was a really fun interview with Adam, and I'm so happy for him that he's, continuing on after the Republic. And thank you for putting his banner up for Moffat's Private Soccer Academy. So anybody who's listening in, if you want to give Adam Moffat a shout, we put his link in the feed right there. You can take a peek at it. He's an awesome person and a fabulous trainer and coach. So have a look.
Yeah, please check it out. And if you're trying to find private soccer academy lessons, what better person than Adam Moffat, who not only was with the Republic, but also has a lot of experience in MLS and back in Scotland as well. So check it out and go enroll your child. I think, you heard his mentality. He's the coach we all want to have as coach. So there you go. Speaks for himself.
Yeah, so it was really good catching up with him, Luis. I am looking forward to having him amongst the others, Rob McAllister and Kevin, being a commentator. These guys have brought us a lot more knowledge, their view and the fact that they've played at such high levels. When they're commentating, it brings light to the game, what things that we don't always see as fans, even though we might be players too, we don't see some of the things that they see. And it's going to be fun hearing his voice again, on game day, if we're watching games, or, if we can't be in the stands, or if can't travel, when the team is away. So this will be a blast. He was a real fun catch up. It's really good to catch up with Adam. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I think it's always really great to catch up with him and whatnot. And just listening to him last season when he was commenting games, like you said, on point, really good comments. And I would also add, it's really cool that we're able to hear from a former Republic player in the commenting box, right? I mean, we don't have that long of a history. And so, of course, we can't say there's been a lot of players that have done that, but he did that. And I have to think back if we ever heard another player, maybe they could have made a surprise commenting appearance, but not as regular as Adam and being there. So I'm really glad that we get to hear from, again, a former Republic player there. And we'll actually be able to hear him actually when we're at games. So, especially if we're going to have limited capacity. And as we mentioned before, right, my section is going to be literally right next to where he's at. you're right there as well. There's not that many people. If you could hear the players, I feel like you can hear the commentators too. So I think it'll
Yeah.
actually be quite interesting to hear commentators and you're actually watching the game. It's going to be a little interesting experience being at stadium with few people and whatnot. Of course, we want everyone to be there though, and hopefully everyone can be there. But if we get the chance to be at a couple of games, then we'll get that opportunity, which I actually just signed up earlier today for a half season ticket. And so I'm really stoked.
Congratulations. Good stuff. Good.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
looking forward. And being able to have midfield seats is really great because previously I was sitting in TVB and I am going to miss doing the chants and whatnot. But this season I was like, you know what? I kind of want to experience the game midfield, get to see it from that angle and get a new experience going on. So should be really interesting.
So what's really fun is, if you have a season ticket seat midfield, I mean, like friends of ours, Jane and Scott, Jane will get up and she'll go, back and forth. So she'll go in TBB and be there for a while and cheer and yell, and then she'll come back and sit in her seats. And so it's fun to be able to do that, to have the flexibility. And that's what, the beauty of being in this stadium. There's always room to go do what you want to go do. And I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be good.
Yeah.
It's going to be so good. Yeah. So we just need to get to the yellow tier, right?
Yes. I'm like, please, everyone, just get your vaccine so we're able to get more seats, because as the club has announced, it is going to be, I believe, 2,300 capacity for the first couple of matches. That could change if we change tiers. And not everyone, even who is a season ticket member, is going to even have access to tickets. It's all really going to depend on when they sell out of the quantity that they have. So if you're not already either a full season or a half season ticket member, you might want to check that out, because from what I hear, there's a good chance that you might not be able to get a ticket just in general public for that first match or even the second match too. So if you want to be on the safe side, check it out. Get yourself one of those plans. They are going to be really flexible with being able to allow you to change matches or even roll over credit to the next season if you have credit remaining. So I think this is the season to get one of those two plans for you. And they also have interest-free 3-month payment plans as well. So really great. You don't have to pay it all at once, and it really works out perfectly. And of course, you get all the other nice little goodies like the scarf, the discounts, and so on. So
yeah, no, that's good.
Check that out.
I was really impressed with my bag that I got when my sister and I went this last weekend to the season ticket event where you picked up your bag and your swag and all that other stuff. And I was like, wow, this is really cool. They have the Republic face masks that are really good, high quality, Yeah. So when you get a chance, Luis, to pick up your season ticket holder bag, merch bag, you're going to be pretty impressed with what's in that bag. And it's a clear bag, because a lot of stadiums are going to a specific size to enter the stadium. Like I think LAFC, you had to have everything in a clear bag, and it was a certain size that you could have. So this will help us. I mean, the bag that they gave us is the perfect thing to take into a stadium. So perfect. They did a good job. Wow. They did a really good job. They were thinking ahead, all things considered, given the weird season we had last year. So
that's awesome. Well, I'm really looking forward to getting a really good mask. I know the first 3 that they actually had for sale right last year, I bought them and they were too small for me. My head might be too big, but I was like, yeah, these are kind of small. And so definitely getting those high quality masks are really great and really great accessory, of course, to have for game day. Well, speaking of that,
they're navy blue. Yeah.
Speaking of that, actually, we have a schedule now, right? Or I should say a full schedule, because before we mentioned that we did have a couple of games. There was really no dates on some of the other ones. And it's going to be really interesting. And if you all haven't seen it, go check it out. It's on the Sacramento Republic website, also on their social media. But we already knew the season opener was on April 30th against Los Dos. That was already there. And then our opening night home match, May 12th against Lights. But we actually saw an expanded schedule that basically sees us playing quite a lot actually against I call them handball rising. um, and we're going to be playing a couple of times against them and also against Tacoma, which I think is our favorite rival to play against now that T2 is not around.
Yeah.
So should be interesting matchups, but I do have to say that I don't know why the games against the Roots have to be on Wednesdays at home. I was kind of hoping that we'd get a weekend game against them at home, of course, because we are playing against them away on a weekend. So yeah, but what are your thoughts on the schedule? Anything that stands out to you?
Yeah, it's interesting you brought up the Wednesday situation. I know that they're cramming as many games as they possibly can into this. It's condensed the time frame for playing the games, and they still have to make room for the next part of it, the playoffs and that sort of stuff. So, it's funny over time to watch the season edge. The first season the 2014 ended in September, and then the season went a little further. The more teams that got added to USL, and then it went further. And now the final game is in the last weekend of October. It was like, oh my goodness, how did we get from having a last game in September? That's what stood out to me, is and then end of October. But then I thinking to myself, well, we're not starting until end of April. But if you remember, our very first season in 2014, our first game was in April, and it was at Hughes Stadium, and then we went on the road a bunch until we could play in June at what currently, our current location at Cal Expo, Papa Murphy's Park. And it looks like, So the other thing that we talked about in our last podcast that stood out for me was our opening night is May 12th, a Wednesday. So our opening night is not a Saturday, it's a Wednesday. And I think that still stands out for me, even though there's a preseason friendly, but there's not going to be able to be very many people at that. So maybe by May 12th, we'll have more fans in the stands because we may be in a different tier. So anyhow, those are my little takeaways. Yeah. So
yeah. Fingers crossed that things get better by then, because we're going to have a 3 consecutive game stretch where we actually have home matches. So May 29th against Phoenix Rising, June 2nd, Oakland Roots, and June 5th, Orange County. And so it's going to be 3 games that are just going to come at us, within a week. And hopefully things get better so more people can actually attend those games. There was another thing that stood out to me that I was, kind of confused as to how this is going to work. And I wasn't even aware of this, but we're playing against New York Red Bulls 2, July 31st. And so I think it's an interesting, but at the same time, kind of weird dynamic to have us play against the East Coast team. At the same time, I mean, they are going to be traveling over here. So luckily, they don't have to make the travel out to New York. That would be quite a travel. But I think it's weird why they decided to do that crossover. I don't know. Hopefully, it all goes good. But I know Red Bulls 2 are a really competitive side. We've seen them actually win the USL in the past as well. So, yeah, I don't know what happened there.
Hey, I think we're fortunate to be able to play at least another team during season from a different conference, because there's several pods of conference right now. And so it'll be good for us to be able to see that and, to do that. I think that's a good thing. I think it's a good thing. Right.
Yeah.
Too bad we can't play Oklahoma, right? Or Tulsa.
Yeah.
We'd be able to see Bijev and some of our other favorites there. Ray Sari, it would be fun.
But yeah, it's too bad. That would have been better, and that would have made more sense. It's closer than New York. We'll have to ask someone at the USL what was going on with that, why they decided to do that. But yeah. Cool. Well, we're looking forward to that first match again. It's basically, as of this recording, it's going to be in 3 weeks, 3 weeks and 2 days. As I look at my calendar here, is when that game will happen. The first game. We're going to try our best to be there. If we can't get those tickets, hopefully the tier changes by then, and we don't even have to worry about this and that. And there's more tickets available, and whoever wants to go can actually go. So hopefully. Cool. Well, before we close it out, if you guys aren't following us on social media, please give us a follow on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. At State Republic 12 is all you got to search for. And also, Republic Jeopardy number 3 is going to be coming soon. And if you want to find out when that's going to be, then follow us on social media and we'll make the announcement. Should be really interesting. Right now, we got Elliot Horde. Jane is actually going to be also join us. And we're actually just looking for that third person that will also be on there. Once that's figured out, we'll have a date out to everyone. And so be on the lookout. So check that out again on our social media, as well as also on our Facebook group page, Sacramento Soccer Fans. If you haven't joined yet, check it out, join it. It's 500 plus members strong, growing by the day. More and more people are joining each week. So join in on the conversations on anything related to our favorite sport. Awesome. Well, Sharon, thank you for joining us tonight. We had a really good interview with Adam. And thank you to everyone here who listens to our podcast, and to those of you watching on YouTube right now. Thank you for watching us. And you will hear from us next time here on State of the Republic podcast.
Thank you, Luis. Good night.